What's going on, everyone? My name is Lit Liv. I'm here in the Focus Camera Studio in Brooklyn, New York. We got Jonny here, and we're gonna shoot a little film versus digital. So I'm a film photographer. I'm based in Harlem, New York, and my focus is usually fine art and portrait photography. I got with me two medium format cameras, my Pentax67 with the 55mm lens, and then my Mamiya RB67. They're both medium format cameras, and it's gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna shoot with Portra 800 and should have a few good looks left.
I'm Jonny. I'm the product photographer here at Focus Camera. I also shoot product on my own time in my home studio. I'm really just a student of photography. I love all different types, which is why I have with me my film camera and my digital camera. I have the A7R4 with the 85 G Master 1.4 and a Hasselblad 500 CM. Actually, no, it's a 500 ELM medium format with some Tri-X 400 film in it. I doubt I'll be able to shoot too much with this, but I might want to just get a couple of shots off because Olivia has been inspiring me to bring out my old film camera, wipe the dust off of it, and have some fun with it.
So who's gonna shoot first?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 2 out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, but I feel like I cheated. I didn't cheat, but like we didn't say 2 out of 3.
It's
so,
okay.
Okay. You want to go first or second? So we'll flip a coin.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm here with my friend
Kayla, how are you?
and she's here to model for us. I'm gonna be shooting on my Mamiya. I have Portra 800 in here, so we're gonna start off with a little bit of continuous light. And remember to take your dark side out. That's the most important thing. It won't work if you have a dark side in. And then work some shoulders into there, and then just really take it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just a little bit. Cool. And hold right there. 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax. And there for me. 3, 2, 1. Good. Close your eyes and act like you're taking the light, like you're taking in sunlight. Yeah. Got it. And then bring the chin down. Wait, try it one more time. Try it one more time. Yeah, one thing about film is you're limited in your shot, so you really have to be conscious about what you're shooting. Just like down. But I know you have to lean forward, so like this, but still keep the head level. Perfect. And hold, do not move. Hold, hold, hold. 3, 2, 1. Don't move, don't move. Okay, I have 3 shots left, so let's see if we can knock this bad boy out. But just serve. That's perfect. 2, 1. ISO 800. Shutter is gonna be at 125, so my app is gonna be 5.6. Yeah. And hold. 3, 2, 1. I think I have one more. Big smile, like laughing, chill vibes, chill vibes.
Just tell me when. Because then it starts fading to like a...
I got you. Yeah, I wanted it to be natural. I didn't want you to fall. Yeah, that's good. Woo! Boom. So that's it. I'm out. I'm gonna switch it over to Jonny. He's gonna shoot with the digital. Can I try it again?
So it's my turn to shoot on digital. I'm shooting on the A7R4 with the 85mm 1.4 G Master. The main difference is I'm gonna be switching to flash and we're not gonna be doing continuous lighting anymore. So let's do that. So we're gonna start with, I think it's called like a clamshell style lighting, but normally there's another light that'll shine from the bottom. Instead of using another light, I'm just gonna bounce a reflector here, silver reflector, and just use it as a fill to try to fill some of the shadows underneath, because we don't want, you know, raccoon eyes, because this is coming from the top, so it'll put a little shadow on the bottoms. So to fill that up, we're gonna put this there. All right, so I can shoot a lot more. See, I would have already almost been through a roll if I was shooting film. So it makes it a lot easier. Try one without the bounce. Oh, I accidentally hit my ISO to auto. So make sure you don't do that. It was blasted. Digital. It's great working with a model that knows what she's doing, because you don't have to tell her to pop her head out and all that, typically. Another thing to realize if you have digital, which you can do, is set with Sony. I know you can do this. You can set right eye or left eye as your main focus. So if the model's turned towards me, I can pick, okay, I want the right eye, so it's always in the front, and I'm making sure that it's not auto eye focusing to the wrong eye. And you could set that to like a fast function in your setup.
So I'm going to switch over to my Pentax 67. Now, the funny thing about this is I was being cheap and didn't buy a handle. So we're gonna do a little MacGyver, and I'm gonna tape it on top so it stays on. But you know what? It does the trick, I'm telling you. The funny thing about this one is I don't think this lens is a leaf shutter lens. So I'm going to have to keep the shutter at 30. I'm gonna have to be really still. But I think it'd be kind of cool to get some motion blur in there. So if it does turn out a little shaky, it won't be the end of the world. But yeah, not a lot. Okay, so it looks a little funky, but I'm telling you it works. If y'all want to judge, then somebody sponsor me and buy me a handle. You're good. Thank you so much. Thank you for real. All right. Hey, what's up, guys? We're back at Focus Camera, and we just finished our film versus digital photo shoot. Thank you for Kayla for joining us in the studio today. And I'm pretty excited. I think these photos came out pretty good. So going into this first photo, these are our close-up shots with my Mamiya RB67, and this is with a 90mm. I didn't want to manipulate the film too much. So I kind of just, when I did the color calibration, I kind of just turned down the yellow just a little bit, but I still left enough tint in there just to give it a little bit more edge. I left the highlights in there a little bit blasted just because I kind of like a punchiness to this shoot. And then I wanted to leave some color in her skin, so I kind of left the mids. I didn't really touch the mids too much. But overall, I think the film held up pretty well. I think this is Portra 800, so.
Obviously there's like a quality to film, like with the, not so much the grain, because there's not a ton of grain. Did you say 800 was it?
Yeah, it's Portra 800. The grain is not too heavy on this type of film, but like you said, the hues was a little different because we did use continuous light for this one. It just brought everything just a little bit up, but again, that's what makes film.
Yeah, and it has that aesthetic. Like when you see the photo, you usually can tell. Also, you can see, like I love the blacks from film. They're like super deep and rich blacks. I feel like you can see in her hair and stuff versus on the digital, it's a lot lighter. Like I don't see really that heavy of a black. And that's one thing with film that I always love, is just how deep you can get those blacks and how rich it is.
But this looks pretty good. Can we zoom in and talk about the difference in resolution, especially with film? How crisp is it gonna be the closer you zoom in versus a digital camera?
So film, and then we'll zoom in over here.
Yeah, not too crisp. Oof.
Oh,
that's crispy.
So, yeah, it gets crispy.
So crispy.
Also, don't forget I was shooting with the Sony A7IV, which is a 61 megapixel camera.
Whew.
And it had a G Master lens on it, so the images are going to be very sharp and very high resolution.
Versus film, some lenses, it's kind of, you're gonna have to trust your gut with focusing. Sometimes it has a split prism, so the closer you are to a focus, the prism lines up. Unfortunately, my lens does not have that. So it's kind of just, you have to go off your instinct and based off how much you use the camera itself. So sometimes the focus is gonna be a little off. I think that is more user error than anything. Some of the advantages and the disadvantages of shooting film is, one, you cannot see what you're doing. So you really have to know how you want to set your model, how you want to set your subject. You need to know where your light is. You need to remember what ISO you have so you can remember to meter it correctly. That's a big problem that I have. I kind of go in, especially if you're shooting different stocks of film and a lot of film in one shoot, you forget to change that ISO setting. So you need to make sure you're metering correctly, and to make sure you keep in mind, hey, how is your shots gonna look? Do you have everything pre-planned, or are you just gonna make it up as you go along? It's very limiting if you're shooting with a medium format, especially with the RB. You're only gonna get 10 shots, so you really have to be careful how you're gonna set your subject and what you want your subject to do and what kind of image you're looking for. You kind of have to have all that planned out ahead of time, or just really be in the moment and just have a forward thinking about your shooting. It's not like you can just rip off shots. Maybe it's not most disadvantages and advantages, it's just mostly differences and things that you have to think of when you're shooting film versus if you're gonna shoot digital. One of the main things is price. Film, unfortunately, has gone up in price, so you need to consider how many rolls you're gonna shoot and the price of each roll. I think Portra 800 right now stands at about $13 to $14 a roll. So you just need to be very focused on, hey, what you're gonna do with each roll and how many rolls you're gonna be using. You have to think of development cost. If you're gonna send it out to a lab, you need to think of how much they're gonna charge you to develop and scan it. If you do all of that stuff yourself, you also need to think about how much a kit costs, chemicals, a scan, a flatbed scanner, all of that stuff. All costs money, unfortunately, but you really have to determine if it's worth it. What are some of the pros and cons of digital?
So this is a pro and a con together, is the amount of shots you can take with the digital. You can just fire away, and sometimes, you can get caught up with taking a bunch of shots versus really setting up a shot that will be successful. Well, maybe getting too comfortable with it. I think knowing your camera is a big help as well. Know your subject that you're gonna be shooting, and then set your hot buttons to go along according to that subject. So you can easily access, like, changing the left and right eye autofocus, and you can do it quickly. Because a lot of shoots that I've been on with models, I catch myself looking in my camera, making sure my settings, and she's just standing there, and it's like getting stale. The environment's getting really stale, and she's getting bored, and now it's gonna come out in the photos. You have to be on top of your game and just like be ready to shoot. And that's one thing with the digital that's fun, is if you do have that control over your camera, then you don't have to worry about getting the eye in focus or your focus distance or anything like that, because you already know that it's going to pinpoint it for you. And then you could focus more on composing the model. Digital cameras are also a lot smaller, I feel like, than the film cameras, and lighter. So you can just pack them away. And I know they're making them even smaller and smaller now, and the lenses are getting smaller and lighter. So it's easy to grab it and go. So that's a huge advantage with digital cameras.
Yeah, with film cameras, obviously 35mm cameras can be small, compact, and lightweight. It's when you get in the medium format, especially if you have a monster of a beast like the RB, it is so heavy, especially if you have a heavy glass prism on top of it. You just have to be careful, okay, how much weight is this gonna add to your camera bag? One thing I love about film, it's freaking cool, man. No, I'm kidding. One thing I love about film, honestly, I kind of love the rush and I love the risk that comes with shooting film. I love that people can't come back and ask what it looks like. You just have to let it play out kind of naturally and just trust that you know what you're doing, trust your camera skills. And if you mess up, take it as a learning opportunity and to only get better. Well, everybody, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. It is time for us to go. If you would like to see more videos about film photography, give this one a thumbs up and comment if you want to see more.
Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you guys.